much better.
Do that.
Yeah, the bright lights. Practice it 5 times already. Come on. Jesus Christ. Right, this time to be live. Fucking around.
Chicken shit operation.
Alright.
We are the Bright Light Social Hour, and this is the vivogig podcast.
Awesome.
Sweet. I like it.
Hi, this is Daniel Stanyard, and you're listening to the vivogig podcast, episode 21. This week we've teamed up with a local Austin company, BandLENS, and we're releasing a video podcast with them and the audio podcast as usual. We're interviewing the Bright Light Social Hour, and you guys want to introduce yourself and say, I am and I play, and sort of go around.
Howdy, I'm Curtis. I play guitar and sing.
I'm Jack. I play bass and sing.
I'm AJ, I play keyboards and I sing.
And I'm Joe and I play drums. That's it.
So how would you guys describe your sound to someone who might not have heard you before?
And we're the worst people to ask that. But I guess I kind of, our core elements are, like old kind of hard rock, kind of classic stuff, mixed with old soul and kind of funk influences, along with a lot of modern sort of dance and house patterns and arrangements we use a lot too. So we really kind of just mix all that stuff together, and I mean, at least the stuff that we've currently put out, I would say, draws mostly from those elements, but we'll see where it goes in the future.
So we're going to go straight to the fan questions. The first one comes from a name I'm going to butcher. I'm going to just Zeofae, I'm guessing. And they want to know, how did you guys meet? When did you meet? How did you form?
Jack and I met in college at Southwestern University, Georgetown. It's north of Austin. Basically, I wanted to start a band. I put out a little campus-wide email, and Jack was the first person to respond to the email. And I was looking for some people to start kind of like a hardcore band, like little skronky, noisy, chaotic stuff. And
which I was so excited. I was the only person on campus who listened to that kind of stuff. So I was like, what? I got really excited.
It was weird because I had this instinct that Jack was the one that responded to the email, because I had seen him around campus before but never met him, and he's like had long hair and did you have a lip ring or a nose ring?
Lip ring.
And bands and stuff. He looked like the one guy on campus that might like hardcore or something like that. So I was like, man, I wonder if it's that guy. And then sure enough, like a Sunday afternoon for practice, he showed up and we started the band.
So you guys actually started practicing Sunday afternoons the first time too?
We still practice.
The first time I ever came out for practice after meeting them on. So I guess for me, the next answer would be I just saw their ads on Craigslist and that was it. And I was in a hardcore band at the time too. And I guess by the time it was like I was joining the band, things were like getting softer and more indie rock. So I was like, I'll give these soft pussies a chance, I guess. I'll try something different. I've been in hardcore bands as long as I've been playing music. So yeah, the first time I ever came over was a Sunday for practice, like the very first practice ever.
And then AJ,
then I partied with Jack's brother back in high school a bunch.
He's now our tour manager.
Yeah, and so we knew each other as I knew Jack, we would randomly party with each other back in his mom's house, and then from there we in school yada yada yada, years passed, and then randomly Jack knew I was doing music, and he said they might need a keyboardist, whatever, and 8 months passed, and I come out to a Halloween show. And we end up partying. I meet everybody, and I had seen them before, back in the day with Alex,
That's
years
right.
before.
I was like, come out, meet the band, check out a show, and hang out and party with us.
Well, yeah. So show was great, whatever, and then we all partied back here afterwards. And the first night, these two guys that ever met me, I ended up passing out in the chair, and they're waking up just all destroyed and stuff. And it was a proper way to start everything. So.
Yeah, I remember he showed up to practice, and I was like, "Oh, you're the guy that passed out on the green couch."
As a chair.
Oh, cool.
It's actually a beautiful chair.
The next question comes from Chase, and he wants to know how did the name come about. I'm sure you guys have been asked this a lot.
We don't have like the
We were in
best
Mexico.
dance. We make
saw
up
it.
different stuff.
Whoever answers first gets to make
So
up
a
the
gypsy
story.
woman.
No, we were walking under this bridge, right? And
The Bridge of
it
Mexico.
was just the Great Bridge
The
of
Great
Mexico.
Bridge of Mexico.
You could just say a gypsy woman, Mexican gypsy woman.
It was written.
She gave us a name. You know, I don't know.
She wrote it in the sand under the bridge. Was the point?
No, it's just like words and ideas that we just felt were aligned with kind of the vision that we had for the band and the
Yeah.
music and the attitude that kind of we had, like positive and a community vibe and bringing people together. And it's not, you know, which extends beyond those of us in the band, those of us around us and the fans and people who are part of it. And, you know, and just having a good time and looking towards the future and with hope. So
It's sort of exuberant and optimistic and collective, like all things we value in our music and as people and stuff. So.
Was that the first name you guys came up with, or had you gone through several?
Ask those guys. I wasn't around back then.
Yeah, it was. I did not like it at all at first. I was like, it's so long, nobody's gonna ever remember it, but people seem to dig it, and it works, and now I love it. So
Never fit on Twitter.
yeah, right. That was a nightmare for Twitter.
Man, Like, band names are now decided by Twitter user lengths.
So Chase also wants to know what your songwriting process is, sort of who does what. Did you start with lyrics or music first?
We kind of all do a little of everything, and most of the writing we do is like just in that room, collaborative ideas bouncing off of other people's ideas and kind of working together to achieve something together. Pretty often someone will bring in an idea, like a little bit of something, like a hook or a little rhythmic figure or a chord pattern or something, and we'll just play around with it together until we find something we like.
And the final question from Chase, who's very inquisitive, he wants to know, and Joe asked the same question, like, what do you guys listen to now? What's your favorite song?
And we listen. What's cool about it, I think now more than ever, we listen to so much stuff, you know, and we're always trading records with each other and showing each other new stuff. So
Well, that's the thing is, like, we always are finding old records and going to record stores and buying a bunch of used vinyl that just is, like, awesome. You're digging up these amazing records, and then also we're, like, keeping up on, like, new bands and stuff. Like, Kurt's, like, way into, like, the Jewel Wave and, like, Washed Out and things like that, and it's awesome. It's great music. But we're kind of, like, you know, we have one foot in each, kind of, like, you know, old vinyl and, you know, current stuff, you know.
Well, like, what are a couple records that like we're all listening to this summer, or maybe individually? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, for me, it's not really records. It's mostly just single releases from producers and DJs because 90% of what I listen to is dance music, like house and electro and tech and dubstep. So they don't even put out albums. Like, you have to be huge to put out an album. Like, you're Dead Mouse and you put out an album. That's about it. But I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of Moombatron. It's this weird genre. It's like reggaeton, but if robots had gigantic asses and like had a huge electro influence. It's really interesting, and I've just been all my new Wednesday residents at the parish. We've been doing really fucking filthy, nasty, hard electro, and a lot of that is like squeezing in some like little Latin influences. So once again, it just like, you know, Godzilla with a huge booty kind of shit.
How long have you been doing that? And with this, you've only done one, right?
At the parish, this is actually last night was our second Wednesday, so we're going from here on out.
Have you been DJing for a long time?
Just about a year, actually. I got I think this month celebrates my first year anniversary with my turntables. I bought them for like $400. They were broken and repaired them, and the guy who sold them to me was a battle DJ in the Bronx in the late 80s. So there's like blood in these decks. I really, really like them. They're cool.
Cool. The next question comes from Anonymous, and they want to know, in a facial hair and long hair fight between you guys and Quiet Company's beards, who would win? Don't know if that makes sense.
Those guys got some nice beards for sure.
Yeah. I can hair whip. So.
Yeah, I think our hair definitely beats
we can
them.
out-hair them, but
longer cumulative hair
for sure. But the
they
beards,
definitely out-beard us.
yeah, they've got to be. Kurt was sporting a gnarly beard and then he just shaved it off after the tour. And I would definitely put his beard up against any of theirs. But those guys definitely respected their beards.
Paul Wiklowski from the boxing lesson wants to know from Jack, do you ever get a hole in your thumb from slapping your bass like that?
I used to.
He says like Flea put super glue in his.
Yeah.
Do you have any tricks?
The truth is, I don't really ever slap.
Okay.
I do play a lot with my thumb, but more with the pad of my thumb, which is always like, you know, getting. Yeah, I've always got like a kind of it's like the end of my thumb is like a piece of leather, kind of. So it's just, you know, but the thing is, like, you could take a month off and it goes away, and then you got to rebuild it, which takes a long time. So yeah, it doesn't bleed. It's been a long time since I've had holes in it, but it's pretty strong now.
So Drew wants to know, does your carpet match your stash?
Yes, I've seen it.
It's definitely
Way
shaped
too many
exactly like
times.
Stash. Yes,
Don't
it's,
answer that.
It's a perfect replica. You'd be surprised, actually.
1-to-1.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 2-to-1 in favor of the pubes.
We're going to take a quick break and listen to the track Shanty. Is there any story behind that song? You guys have any?
I mean, the content of it is kind of the song's about sort of, you know, like going through struggles, hard times, and for the band it's been very hard for us to kind of to work and make money and live comfortably and still spend as much time as we can. So but it's not so much about that as it is about, you know, getting together with your friends and still having a good time, saying, like, you know what, screw it, like, who knows what's gonna happen with you know, financially and with comfort, but let's just have a good time.
But also at the
about it.
time, it was when there was like some financial problems going through the country, and like shanty towns were like a popular media like item at the time. So we were kind of like, it wasn't during that time, but we were kind of taking that into thought, and it just kind of like, we kind of rolled it up into current ideas, you know.
Are you guys, are any of you, do you have day jobs, or is this sort of your full-time gig at the moment?
I mean,
Trying to get it to be a full-time gig.
it is a full-time gig, but we still are having to work a little bit when we have to.
I mean,
Yeah.
I personally farm on the side.
Okay.
My family started a farm, and I work a couple days a week, and it's actually really nice because, like, especially after the tour, we come back and you're like stuck in a van a lot. You don't see a lot of sunlight, and I got out to the farm. I was just like, oh, like, this is just now. Like, this is great. You know, so. It's really
So before
cool.
the interview, you guys were talking about grape varietals and
Yeah,
stuff. Like, you've had grapes in
Yeah,
your
had
farm?
some Tempranillo. Oh, excuse me. Had some Tempranillo grapes get eaten by local birds and whatever, and so that was a letdown. But, you know, other than that, it's pretty fun. I just restaked them.
Yeah.
They look beautiful. They're great. They're happy. So.
Do you bring the band to the farm occasionally?
We haven't been out yet.
Actually, they
I've never been
haven't.
out
But
there.
now we haven't had really like a place to stay out there for a while. So we just built like essentially the shell of a cabin, and it's like livable with AC right now. So I think very soon we'll be going out there for like probably a day. We could stay overnight and like jam like a couple days out.
Yeah, we'll
just
probably
be
take, because
cool.
we're in
Country.
heavy riding right now, so we'll probably take all of our equipment out there and spend a couple days at a time just working with no
Just, like,
distractions. Yeah,
It's awesome because like it points west and it's just a giant like hill country, like, you know, kind of a situation. It's
Sweet.
cool.
Cool. Well, let's take a break and listen to Shanty.